Yeah, first want to start by congratulating Coach Gates and Coach Harper both on getting season opening wins last night. Coach Gates winning on the road at Howard, and then Coach Harper and the women's basketball team defeating UCA here at home last night. It's always great to start fast, and now all sports really are kind of kicked off with women's basketball, men's basketball, football. You got gymnastics is getting ready to start their season, wrestling, volleyball. So it's an awesome time, fun time here at the University of Missouri, and look forward to continued student support as we have a great opportunity here versus number 3, Texas A&M. Very excited about the opportunity to play a top team in the country here at home. Another sellout, which is a tribute to the great fans that we have, and appreciate our student section, our fans, for making this just an awesome environment. It's going to be a challenging matchup. I think Mike Elko has done a tremendous job. In 2 years at Texas A&M, he has built a very good, talented, deep roster. He's done an excellent job, not only high school recruiting, but also does a really good job out of the portal. He's combined those teams. They have a very talented football team, but they also have a tough football team. You can tell that his culture and fingerprint is all over it from top to bottom. You know, offensively, Colin Klein leading the way, does an outstanding job offensively. I think Mizzou fans know all too well about Colin and his job, you know, as a player, but also as a coordinator. We've battled him many times. He's developed that quarterback and developed the offensive system around Marcel, who's developing into what I think is a Heisman-type season. He is playing at a really, really high level, distributes the ball really well, not only vertically but horizontally, and then, man, his added dimension when he runs is really, really impressive. It's got some Lamar Jackson-esque type qualities to it from when I was in the ACC in 2017, going against him in 2016 Heisman seasons. Their wide receivers, they attacked the transfer portal. Concepcion is a tremendous player. Along with Mario Craver. Those two guys are dynamic, great speed, open space, catch the ball well, attack it well. They use them in multiple ways. Offensive line, I think the strength of their team. 4 returning starters do a really good job establishing the run. They have a little setback with losing their star tailback, but you don't really notice because the depth that they have with everybody else there. So, I mean, tremendous challenge offensively, defensively, physical, tough-minded defense, very multiple. Do not want to be in third downs against these guys. They do an unbelievable job. Second in the country, third down defenses, only converting about 20% of the time. They're number 1 in the country in sacks. Again, they did a really good job of attacking holes through the transfer portal, getting some local guys here that we missed on with Cassius Howell and William Lee. Went and got some other guys that have played some really, really good football for them. So very, very, very challenging. You know, for our team, it's really about us focusing on helping Matt execute at the highest level possible. We're excited about Matt's opportunity and what he's earned. You know, he has done a really good job in practice of leadership, stepping up, embracing the moment, embracing the opportunity. You know, there was a time in the early part of the season where Bo was a little bit beat up and Matt was getting extra reps with the ones, and those are going to pay off now for us. So that's been a real positive. We really were adamant throughout spring, throughout the summer, and even in fall camp to really focus on 3 spots to make sure that Matt was getting developed, because we knew he was the future of the program at the quarterback position, but the future is now. I think it's important for us not to put too high of expectations on Matt. He does not have to win this game by himself. He's got a really good core of players around him. We just have to play complementary football in all 3 phases. Defensively, got to do a really good job of slowing them down. Special teams has got to do a great job covering kicks. And then offensively, you know, everybody, coaches, players, everybody has to reduce the friction that Matt feels. And so that'll be the challenge this week. He just needs to be himself, and we're excited for the opportunity. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Start here with Eli.
Eli, what you got?
Coach, with A&M, it seems like a team that just does a lot of things really well. What's the challenge of attacking a team that has that many facets that they do well?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge is they do a lot of different things well, and whether it's their punt return game is really good, their kickoff return game is really good, their vertical pass game is really good. They're able to claw you out running the football defensively. They're able to stop the run, force one-on-one matchups, make you execute for 4 quarters. It's a really well-built SEC football team, and it reminds you of going against the big-time teams in the past, like what Georgia and Alabama and those kind of games have been, where you knew that any one mistake could lead to a break in the dam, and that it was going to be a 60 minutes where every inch was earned. And that's why I'm so complimentary of how quickly he's been able to build that kind of team and roster.
Eli, both in that last game and going forward, does there have to be any paring down of the playbook with Matt, or is it simply more leaning into maybe what his strengths were versus what Bo did well? I mean, does he have the full playbook at his disposal at this point?
Yeah, it's not really the full playbook. It's about playing to what his strengths are. I think you answered your own question. Are there things that we're going to add? Probably not, because he hasn't had a ton of reps of it. But are there things that he's more comfortable with than maybe Bo was? Absolutely. And so we can push those things in the playbook that maybe haven't been shown. There were things that we thought Bo did really well, that's what we kind of emphasized, and there's things that Matt does well that we will emphasize moving forward.
Back over here, Cal.
You mentioned Texas A&M's third down defense. I think
Yeah.
it's still the top ranked one in the country. What is it that they do? Is it what they do on early downs, first and second downs, that gets them off the field, or is there something kind of special in their third down packages that you see that makes them so good at that?
Yeah, so as long as I've gone against Coach Elko, which started in 2016, he's always had a really good third down package that starts with attacking protections. He's going to try to get a 5-up presentation where you as an offense have to dictate, we're either going to man this or slide this. And what happens is during the course of a game, whatever you've practiced is usually what you stay with through the course of the game. And he, in my opinion, the first one he tests you. He sends one out there, and then now that he has the iPad, he goes up there and he's super smart, and he realizes, okay, their plan was 4-man slide, so this is the beater, and he'll call Okie Sword. Or he'll, realize that, hey, they're slide, they're manning it, so here's the man beater. We'll bring 2 to this side. And so it's really a cat and mouse game. He does a really good job of setting up tendencies too. So like last year going into the Arkansas game, there was one player who had not blitzed the entire 5-game package. And so you would just say, hey, that's the one guy that's always going to drop out in coverage, so we'll account for everybody else. And then the first third down versus Arkansas, he coffee housed him where he acted like he was going to drop and then blitzed for a sack. So he's got a really good feel for how to attack you, and does a really good job of calling it and then adjusting his calls. And then that's when it gets really challenging, is you felt like you had a really good plan and he busts you in the mouth with something different. Same thing happened to us in 2016. We felt like we had something all dialed up, and the first one he broke his tendency. So got to be willing to adjust.
Coach, going back to 2015 at Boise, when you had Brett Rippon come in a few games in there as a
Yep.
freshman.
Yep.
Similarities, differences between that situation and Matt now, and just lessons you maybe draw back on from then when it comes to breaking in a true freshman.
Yeah, I think that's something that I talked to Kirby about, and something that we've experienced before. There's absolutely some lessons there. I think there's some things that we did to make it a little bit easier on him, that we tailored the playbook towards. Brett was a different player than Matt, but very cerebral, came in early enrollee, battled all through fall camp. We knew he would be ready to go, and was similar in that he was the third quarterback, but once Brett got hurt, we knew we were going to him for the future, and he handled it well. There were good days and bad days, and that's part of growing as a quarterback. So we got to try to limit the exposure of Matt, not to put him on an island. And that kind of happened to us, looking back at Brett when we played Air Force, and had to learn the hard way from that one.
Coach, you touched on this a little bit earlier, but
before fall camp started, you had mentioned Matt, someone who had an outside chance to win the quarterback
Yeah.
battle, and then while that obviously did not happen, what was he doing over the offseason that maybe made his performance against Vanderbilt not surprising?
Not as what?
Not as surprising. What was he doing?
Surprise.
that-
I mean, I think he just studied. Look, the number one talent that Matt has is his arm. I mean, I think the way the ball jumps off his hand, I think we all can see it. He's got a really good arm and arm talent. You know, there's no defense for the perfect throw. That's just the reality of it. And so that always gave him a chance. Then it was just about processing the playbook and processing the timing of the plays and understanding pockets and understanding defense and not throwing into loaded coverages. And all of that stuff takes time in reps. And we were able to really get those. There were bad days in fall camp, and there have been a lot more good days, you know, recently in our good on good. You know, I thought last week Matt had one of his better weeks of practice, just in the whole sense. The good on good, the Skelly, the 2-minute drive, the dirty show, like he's in command. So I think our team has a lot of confidence that he's going to be ready. Again, we got to make sure we don't put too much pressure on him.
Eli, you mentioned, you know, the team has faith in him. He took command in practice. What have you liked about Matt's maturity and kind of stepping into this role? Obviously, in an unplanned way of stepping in, but what have you liked how he's handled it?
You know, I think there's just something about quarterbacks that just have this innate ability to lead, and they're ready. They have a belief in themselves. They're kind of gunslingers, fighter pilots, quarterbacks, right? And Matt's got all of those attributes, and it's his time. So he's ready to roll.
Down front with Cody.
Another freshman, Jude James. I know got some time with Brett getting hurt. Just what have you liked about what you've seen from him this season so far?
Yeah, very consistent. Obviously, he's got playmaking ability with the ball in his hand. Does a really good job running routes, physical. You know, as a guy that we identified as an athlete because he played defense, was a key special teams guy that we thought could help us and knew he could play as an H, and has really embraced, you know, the opportunities that he's had.
What's Bo's role the last couple weeks kind of been? Is he able to be around, and what are his spirits been like since the Vandy game?
Yeah, he's been awesome. Voted captain for a reason. Addressed the team on last Tuesday, I thought, in a powerful way. Has been around, will be around. Got some good news in yesterday's x-rays and is working. He'll be in a walking boot, should be able to be on the sideline for the game. So that's a good start towards his recovery.
Zach.
Eli, as you enter the last month of the season, you're relying on not just Matt Zollers, but also Donovan Olubade and Jude James as true freshmen. What if they
Jude's not a
true
true freshman,
freshmen,
yeah.
excuse me.
That's right.
What have they shown you, though, to earn this trust in these high leverage situations, and how do you kind of evaluate that pressure?
Yeah, I don't think it's a pressure. I think it's a privilege and an opportunity for them to play. They've earned it. You know, we addressed the team yesterday. If you would have told us when we started the fall camp that we would be ranked coming out of the second bye week with an opportunity for everything we want in front of us and get to play a top 10 team at home, everybody signed up for it, and we all said yes. And so the opportunity that we wanted is right here and right now. We have to take advantage of it. And every journey never goes as planned. There's never been a journey that I've been on, whether it's, you know, taking family vacations or whatever, that goes exactly as it's planned. And so our job is to adapt and adjust. Don't make excuses and go attack it. And everybody that's on our football team in this organization has earned the right to be here, and they just got to lean into it. And they got to lean into their opportunity. Don't make it bigger than it is. Trust their training. Trust the Elite Edge preparation that they've gotten, and go attack it. You know, there's really nothing to fear. It's just a hell of an opportunity laying out there for us, and we're going to go attack it and go have fun doing it.
What type of issues does Cassius Howell present as an individual, and how does having a guy like that on the defensive line affect kind of your game plan moving forward, especially with a true freshman at QB?
Yeah, I mean, he is a really, really good player out of Rockhurst. Complete whiff on me for us not to try to take him out of high school. Went to, I believe, Bowling Green and had a heck of a career, and then transferred to A&M and you know, really regret that we didn't do a better job evaluating that. He's a dominant football player in this league. You know, every team, it feels like, has one, and he's as good as any of them. and so it's going to be a real challenge for our offensive tackles. Obviously, we have to account for it within our game plan. But the reality of it is, like, he is elite. But when we played South Carolina, they had elite ones. And when we played Alabama, they had elite ones. And when we played Auburn, they had 2 elite ones. And then when we played Vandy, they had an elite one who, so every team we play has got DNs, and we've got 2 really good ones too. That's what makes the SEC. I know every coach talks about how challenging our league is, but until you get in here and have to go every week and say, holy cow, how are we going to block that guy? Nobody else understands it, and they never will.
We'll finish up here.
Coach, with Marcel Reed, what major differences, if any, do you see out of his game from last year to this year?
Last year got me in trouble because I said he was the future, and they played Connor, and he killed us, But I've believed in Marcel Reed for a long time. I was first on the bandwagon, So he's a really good player. You can tell the guys love playing for him. They love playing around him. When he makes a mistake, he just bounces back, keeps on going. Moment's never too big. Obviously led a big game-winning drive versus Notre Dame. He's got a great quarterbacks coach and an offensive coordinator who sees it through his eyes and, calls a game for him, I think, which is, really fun when you're watching it, not going against it, but fun when you're watching it because you see that camaraderie. So, I'd like for Marcel to recognize that I was on the bandwagon first.
All right, Coach, thank you.